Well, thanks everyone for coming, and to the organizers for the opportunity to speak a little bit about this topic, this subject. Well, the Saharan Desert toad, it's a powerful entheogen medicine that it's occur in the Saharan Desert toad, that it's a unique species of amphibian that lives in Saharan Desert in the border between Mexico and United States. And I've been working with this medicine for the last 12 years. In 2011, I came to one of the 13 tribes that are still living in Saharan Desert, and I shared this medicine with them in order to treat the crystal meth addiction among the population. And after the elders of this community certified the effectiveness of this medicine for treating the addiction to stimulants, they showed me the traditional chants that they use for healing. And when I start to using these powerful healing chants in the ceremony with this medicine that I was using for 6 years before of that, I start to see different results in people's experience. My own experience with this medicine helped me to free myself of crystal and crack cocaine addiction that I was carrying with me for a long time. And this addiction didn't belong, was born with the usage of illegal substances. This addiction was born with me, and it was manifested to different things: food, sex, video games, exercise, everything that makes me feel good. Then I was trying to get more and more and more of this. And at the beginning was just television and sex, but then it shifted into alcohol, tobacco, and other substances. So suddenly I was completely lost, and I spent 3.5 years trying to escape from this prison that I create myself. So this medicine helped me to, in around 18 months, quit completely the ingestion of stimulants, and I've been out of that life for the last 12 years of my life. So I wanted to share how this medicine saved me, and that's why I wrote the book Toad of Dawn, that it's available on the internet, and that you can access to that information about my personal experience with this medicine. So 3 years ago, I started working with United Nations from Venezuela. They were conducting a research mainly with ayahuasca and yopo for a long time with indigenous medicine men from Colombia and Venezuela mainly. One example of those medicine men, it's Taita Florito that is here with us. So I perform around 7,000 ceremonies in more than 30 countries. You can see here some of the countries that I've been with this medicine, mainly educating people about the importance of respecting the plant materials and earth-based medicines that nature has offered to us. And in this work, I had the opportunity to meet with many other traditions and many other medicines. And then I was really interested in why no one knew about this medicine in recent times. So I started to make a compilation, and I started visiting a lot of museums in Mexico. And then I started to find a lot of evidence of the presence of the toad in all the Mesoamerican cultures. But not only in Mesoamerica, the presence of the amphibians connected with the spirituality, it's all over the world. We can see the relationship in China, in Japan, and also here in Europe with the mythology of the witches, the witchcraft, and the toads being used for the magic. So I haven't found any kind of black energy, only the people's mind and people's fear. Even if I was told that this could be dangerous, and the books that I wrote in the med school put all these substances in a box with a sign of don't touch it because it's forbidden, I found my freedom, and I've seen how thousands of people can reach the same state of awareness through this medicine. So there is a tradition of the usage of the mushroom and the peyote and ayahuasca and many other medicines all over the world, and the use of the 5-MeO-DMT that it's contained also in the Bufus alvarius. We can find it in the medicine called yopo from South America. The presence of the yopo, we can track it in really ancient times. In the archaeological site of Tiahuanaco in Bolivia, you can find there the elements, the devices for the ritual ingestion of these seeds, and also you can find the seeds that proves that people 4,500 years before our era were using the same substance with the intention to connect with the spirituality. So some people deny that people in the past in Mesoamerica knew about the properties of the toad. But this picture that I'm showing to you was taken from the Museum of the Americas in Madrid. And it's a vessel of a toad or a frog. And the sign that it's in the museum says that this is a species of a frog of the one people obtain an hallucinogenic substance. This ceramic was found in the west of Mexico, in Nayarit, and belonged to the period of years that you can see there. So this is one object that suggests that people in the past were using some kind of material of an amphibian, and this is not something that I'm postulating. Many authors, just like Whale, said that the only candidate possible for all these effigies to be present in all these Mesoamerican cultures is not Buphus marinus. The only possible candidate could be Buphus alvarius, but Buphus alvarius only lives in Sonora Desert, and from Sonora Desert to the rest of these archaeological sites, you have hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. But there is more clues that can lead us to think that people in the past were using this medicine. So, this is the Sonora Desert toad. You can see the glands, and in these glands is where this medicine is located. For extracting this medicine, we only squeeze the gland, we only collect that fluid, we free the toad, and when this substance is dried, we burn it and we smoke the product. And with just one inhalation of this medicine, you can have a complete dissolving of your ego and a reconnection with that feeling and sense of being part of something greater than yourself. This is the area of the world where the Sonoran Desert is located, and the area of Sonora. Do you have any? Oh, thank you. Okay. So it's all this area. It's Arizona, a little bit of California, and a little bit of New Mexico, and also Sonora State. So here, we can still having 13 tribes that lives, but none of these tribes remember that this toad contains this medicine. And I was wondering why. And the answer is really simple, because all this was destroyed. 500 years ago, Europeans came to America and they annihilate completely this culture. They said that these people were adoring the devil, but through the evidence in museums, I can see that these people were talking about nature. These are the exhibitions that were spread here in Europe, but these were the ideas that people were talking before about. You can see that people are talking about strange beings, demoniac beings, that it doesn't exist, they never exist. They talk about people being barbarians and doing acts of sadism and cannibalism, and we don't have real evidence of this. We only have the evidence of people talking about something that we cannot understand, but we can see the relationship between these totems, like the eagle, like the serpent, like the snake and the jaguar, all put together in these representations of something that they call Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, that was alive for more than 3,000 years. So the evidence of the presence of the feathered serpent, it's always related with the presence of the amphibian and with the presence of another symbols. This symbolism that you can see in all these pottery vessels belong to three different cultures. These cultures, the Mayan, the Aztec, and the Toltecs, were talking about the same idea. The idea that this toad contains something in the gland that provides them from experience that was really important for them, because this experience provided by the gland of the toad was connecting people with the snake, with the jaguar, and with the beings that connect us with all these states that are available for everyone. So we have, for more than 1,500 years, people who were speaking different languages, but they were talking about the same experience. People flying, people upside down, people screaming, and always the presence of the toad with another carriers of other spiritual knowledge as the deer, because from the dung of the deer, we see that here there are a representation of some mushrooms. So the bread induced by these symbols that are related and connecting the toad with the smoke, we can see people here that are smoking things. You can see again here the jaguar and a fish. Just like in all these images, you will see always a fish in front of the toad, a fish in front of the toad, a fish in front of the toad. Just like you can see here again, the fish in front of the toad. So this art, for me, is just explaining something that it will be impossible to understand, but after you experience the substance of this medicine, you can see clearly why these people is showing all these toads with all these different reactions. And one of the main objects that called for my attention is the so-called Tlaltecutli, that is this huge sculpture that was found in 2006. So when I start to analyze the symbols that are represented in this sculpture, I can see that all the hair of the Tlaltecutli is made of these spirals. And these spirals, you can see them in the Quetzalcoatl temple in Teotihuacan and in the Mayan area, where you can see also toads, and in the exact place of the gland, you can see the same spiral. So also there is toads at the entrance of the main temple in Tenochtitlan, in the capital city of the Aztec Empire, when now it's Mexico City built on the top. And also we have a few codex that survived the destruction, and in these codexes you can see also the presence of the toad with the glands and other symbols that I connect with this same experience. There is also an archaeological site in Veracruz that is huge, and there is this huge toad sculpture that was carved directly into the mountain, and this toad sculpture is within a huge temazcal, a ball game, and a square for 10,000 people. So when I interview with the archaeologists who were working in this archaeological site, and I shared the medicine with them, then they agree with me that all the evidence and after the experience with the medicine, for them is clearly that all the art and the representations in the pottery and the sculptures and the buildings are talking about this same experience induced by the 5-MeO-DMT. So there is a lot of pipes. I have around 500 different images of the presence of the toad in museums. I don't want to overwhelm you with these assumptions that people in the past were using this medicine, but you can take your own conclusion about it. It will be just really difficult to dismiss that something like this will be unknown for people that were living in these places. And one of the items that you can go and see here in Europe is this huge collection of toad pipes that were located in Ohio and Mississippi in the year 1100 DC. And one of the main confusions that exist towards this subject or this topic is to think that it's the same the frog than the toad. And you are in this slide watching the cambo, that is the green frog from the Amazonian rainforest, and the experience provided from this medicine compared with the toad medicine is completely different. So I'm working with Filipa Sousa from Spain, from the last year using the Cambo as a preparation for the experience with the toad medicine. And the results that I've seen before and after are really remarkable. In my own experience, I've did Cambo around 20 times and has improved a lot my feeling of happiness and well-being. So when I start to use this technique with the toad medicine or after before the toad medicine, has been proven that people can have great benefits from this combination of using these two amphibians, one from the Amazonas rainforest and the other one from the Sonoran Desert, that has nothing to do one with the other one, but that they can work together really good. So this is some of the images, because I'm doing this work with the permission of the Seri tribe for sharing their chants. And also, I did a documentary that it will be released the next year. It's 2 hours length, and here I'm explaining, with the help of archaeologists and scientists, all the information that I'm sharing here with you with more detail. Also, because with the help and the support of Grandpa Pancho, I learned about the Seri traditions, and these Seri traditions are really important for me in my work, because has given the root to connect the Sonoran Desert toad with the people from the desert and the traditions that people were using in this same area in the past. I'm not saying that people has a fresh memory in the community, in the Seri community, or any other tribe of Mexico for using this medicine. I'm the first one that is saying none of the tribes of Mexico remember how this medicine was used, and we don't have any clue of how people were using this medicine in the past, in case that people were using this medicine in the past. But the evidence that only myself, I collect, all this medicine that you can see here, this is the product of the collect of the medicine just from one season and just with 3 people. So I don't know what can be done with the help and the support of everyone with this medicine. So people can access to this experience with or without any prior experience with psychedelics. Like this man that you are seeing here, he's 70-something years old. He has been an alcoholic for his whole life. You can see that he's not in the best shape, but he trusts himself in this process, and after him and many other people went to this process, they can say something about it. And that's why there is so many videos and testimonials of people in the YouTube, because this medicine, just like some people has in the past, psychedelics and entheogens really work. I had the opportunity to share this medicine with my mom, with my family, with my kids, and also with other medicine men like Grandfather Bolivar from the Piaroa tribe. And this tribe, they use the yopo since today, until modern times. And they can say that this toad medicine is something sacred, is something valuable, is something precious, is something that people need to understand, and we need to start to doing all the research with this medicine. But we already have the approval of people who knows about these medicines, not because they read it in some books, because they had the experience of their own life. Also because with the support of archaeologists like Jaime Cortez, who is a professor for the Mexican Institute of History and Anthropology, and he has been working in these sites for more than 35 years, and he knew about the presence of the toad in the Mesoamerican iconography, but after he did the medicine, he understands why these people were talking about this. And, well, the medicine and the ritual, it's really simple. It's just about standing in front of the sun, taking the medicine in a soft ground, because some people can roll, some people can vomit, some people can cry, some people can scream, and this is not under the control of anyone. This is just cathartic reactions that people are having to release a lot of stock energy. The uses that I'm giving to this medicine mainly is to treat drug addiction to synthetic and prescription drugs, but also has been useful treating depression, anxiety, pulmonary problems as bronchitis and asthma, And also, I've seen the benefits to use this medicine in terminal illnesses, because people who are about to die, they are full of fear to losing something, and after they experience this infinite love, they can just relax, surrender, and accept and transcend in a more beautiful way. And also, I've worked with ex-war veterans treating the post-traumatic disorder, and the results has been really, really, really remarkable. A lot of this information will be published in the next years. A lot of people now is working in order to make the scientific trials to explain and to understand better all this data that we already have. There is some transitory effects, not necessarily negative, because this might be part of the normal process of integration of these medicines. So the most common side effect after doing this medicine, it's fear. Fear when you are going to sleep, because you can feel that the medicine is coming back in the full effect, and some people freak out because they think that they might die or lose the mind during this process. But this lasts only for a few days. Also, anxiety, the insomnia that is also connected with the fear, and the spontaneous reactivations of the medicine that are also really common. And another side effects of the medicine, it's that this state might reveal some other pathologies that were hidden. We are, for some people who had some risk factors as heart problems, we are asking for an EKG before. We also are asking to people to do a detox that might be just fasting, but the best way that I've learned so far and I've seen is the Cambo. So we ask to people to go and do Cambo 1 or 2 or 3 times in the weeks before or the days before attending to the toad medicine. And because this medicine is not absorbed through the digestive system, it doesn't affect really the experience itself if you have something in your stomach or not. But because some people can vomit during the experience, and just in order to make it less messy, we ask to people to have a light meal before. Some of the factors that might influence the result of the experience is that people are under the influence of some MAO inhibitors. Some authors says that this is a contraindication for the medicine, but in my experience, I've been working with Yopo, that it's a MAO inhibitor, and then you snort the 5-MeO-DMT, and also I had the opportunity to try myself Banisteriopsis piscapi and then try the toad, and I shared this experience with a few people, and I've seen that this is a way to enhance the effect of the toad medicine, to make the effects longer, maybe to 45 to 1 hour, but we must use less than the half of the amount of the normal dose for the toad medicine. And also that severe mental conditions can be worsened after the medicine. And it might be just part of a process, but we don't have the data and the background to know how to help these people. But in my experiment, I've seen that these medicines, just like any other activity in life, can help people to achieve a better quality of life, but this also might be the last move for some of us. So I haven't seen the direct relationship between the medicine and harm or harmful effects for the body. But I already see one person dying during the toad medicine. And what it happened is that I was performing ceremonies in Teotihuacan, Mexico last Easter in 2016. And this was the 5th day of sessions. This person, he was a 43-year-old, and he came to the session invited by one of his friends who was also my patient, and he healed himself from a crack cocaine addiction. So his friend, he has been an alcoholic for more than 20 years, and he came to the session. He went with the doctor a few days before, and the doctor says that he was healthy and he was okay. So when this guy took the medicine, he went to the process. It was no any sign that something was going bad or going wrong. But when I saw that it was not normal, and I tried to measure the vital signs, and I saw that it was no response, and I tried to do the maneuvers for resuscitate him, and it was in vain, and he died there. When I called the ambulance, and the ambulance arrived 45 minutes later, the cops arrived first, so I was put in custody, and I spent a few hours on jail until the post-mortem exam and all the tests that the family did, because they were trying to, not to blame me or the medicine, but to find out what happened. And what it happened is that this person died from a pulmonary thromboembolism. This embolism was a product of the arteriosclerosis that this guy had in his veins. Why? Because he was eating not healthy for 40 years. Because he was smoking, because he was drinking alcohol for the past 20 years, because he was doing not exercise. And like him, 200,000 people died every year only in the United States for the same condition. But these 200,000 people didn't have the opportunity to transcend in one of these states. This was an accident, and this accident, it might happen again to me or to any other practitioner with this or with any other medicine, even with holotropic breathwork. So it's a responsibility and it's a necessity of our society to assume the possible risks that we're having in an attempt to heal ourselves, in an attempt to expand our consciousness, in an attempt to understand our own nature. And just like in war, just like in sports, it will be casualties, it will be fatalities, because we are sick. We are sick and we are living in a sick society, and we need to take actions, desperate actions, to try to save our own life. So, for me, this medicine has putting me face to face with my worst nightmares. Because if I was dressing my white coat inside of a hospital and something happened, even if it's my fault, I will just sign a form and say, man, I'm sorry. But with this kind of work, we cannot say that. We need to assume that no one is in control of the life and the death. But the only thing that we have for sure in this life is that we, all of us, sooner or later, will transcend. We will suffer and we will experience the same. So I think that having near-death experiences like the ones provided by these medicines can make the difference in our lives. But it can make also the difference in the death. A lot of people right now, it's in hospitals suffering for terminal illnesses, and they are hopeless. The only thing that we are giving to them is something to numb the pain. It's something to take away the suffering. But what about the light? What about the love? What about the high vibration? What about all these things that we know that are here, but we are too afraid to reach them because they are forbidden and they are dangerous? So I think that these medicines are a way out to the madness that we create with our actions. And only us, we can escape from this reality, trying to create a new reality with love, working as a family, stopping blaming other people for the things that has happened to all of us. Because, believe me, I didn't want it for this man to die, but it has been a blessing for me and for the medicine. Because after I went through all the possible judgments that our society can give, I'm still waiting for the real one. The real one. One day I will be judged by my actions in this world. But none of you can do that. Not society can do that. Only God will do that. And I'm waiting for that moment because it will be a freedom for myself. But until then, I will keep doing my work because I trust and I know that this is good for people, it's good for society. And I also think that it was good for this guy because it was a blessing for him. How many people has passed away in fear, in suffering, and the people who had the total experience so far, they can say something about this experience. They can say something about what this experience meant for them. You saw a picture, a movie 2 days ago, and you saw in this movie that everyone was happy. We didn't hide any information for this new movie. We didn't manipulate any information for this movie. You are watching what it happened that day. But not all the time we will have easy processes. And it's important that we help ourselves also in difficult times, not only in happy times. So I want to just say that people will talk a lot of the total medicine in the future, because it's really powerful and it's really effective. And it's a therapeutic tool that cannot be compared with any other therapeutic tool because of the strength, because of the short duration of the process, and also because after you do this medicine, you will still processing these days and weeks and months and years after. So if this is happening to us just after the exposure once or twice or 3 times to this medicine, what will happen to our society and to our genes after we, instead of going and drinking alcohol every week, we can start to doing ayahuasca and mushrooms and peyote and toad again. And maybe we can thrive not only as individuals, but also as a species. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it.